Mr. Morales?
Yes, Your Honor.
Looks like you've got warrants out of Volusia County for failure to appear on a DWL driving while license suspended or revoked charge. I'm getting ready to take teams down, just so y'all know. I can't. And as well as reckless driving. And because they are Volusia County charges, they cannot appoint a public defender to represent you. But I have reviewed the arrest report and the warrant confirmation teletype. I do find probable cause for the charges. Volusia has set your bond status at $500 on the reckless driving charge and $250 on the other charge. And so that is the situation. If they've not picked you up by July 2nd and you're still in our custody, we'll bring you back here to first appearance in front of a polk judge, okay?
I have a question, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So is it because the same thing was said on my first appearance that if they didn't come get me, come back June 25th? Is it the same thing, July 2nd? Is it the same process?
Yes. Hold on a second.
Because I've been here for 7 days. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to give them, has Gary been here that one? Thank you. Is it the same number? Can we block them? No. Admit them. This is Judge Gibson. Who's on the line from 893-979? Oh, they just popped off as soon as I said it.
They're still in.
Are you still on there? Where did it go? Who's on the line from 896-979-379, and then it has a pound symbol? Who is that? This is Judge Gibson. Who is that keeps coming in and going out and coming in and going out? Who's on the line from that number? You were just admitted again. Please identify yourself. Okay, remove them from the meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what's the deal?
This is the second time being.
All right, that is the date we're going to keep for now, okay, sir? Thank you very much.
Yes, Your Honor.
Moving on to Marcus Morrison. Mr. Morrison, it looks like you're here on Polk County case number 2026 CF000950 because you have a capias and an order regarding pretrial release. Would you like for me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
No, I have a attorney.
All right, so you have Gail Cheatwood, and she will continue to represent you, okay?
Okay.
All right, I have reviewed the capias and the order in this case. I do find probable cause for the charges. The capias set your bond status at no bond, so that's the situation, and you'll have a hearing on July the 8th at 8:30 a.m. in the F4 division. The next case is Kyle Murphy. Mr. Murphy, you're charged with use or possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of cannabis under 20 grams. Would you like for me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
Yes.
I provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I have reviewed the arrest report. I do find probable cause for the charges. In this case, I'm going to require a pretrial release with bail's condition of pretrial release. Your bail is set at $1,000 on each count. Once you are released, you must report immediately to Pretrial Release Services Office in person in Quarto at 1745 South Highway 17. Thereafter, you must report by phone every week, twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you must submit to random urinalysis that you're required to pay for. You have an arraignment set for July the 10th at 8:30 a.m. in the M5 division. Thank you, sir. Moving on to Adolfo Orellana.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you're charged with domestic violence battery. Would you like for me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
Yes, Your Honor.
I provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I have reviewed the arrest report. I do find probable cause for the charge. In this case, I'm going to require a pretrial release with bail's condition of pretrial release. Your bail is set at $5,000. Once you are released, you must report immediately to pretrial release services office in person in Bartow at 1745 South Highway 17. Thereafter, you must report by phone every week, 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You're prohibited from having any contact with the victim. You may not contact the victim directly or indirectly. You may not contact the victim in any manner whatsoever. You must stay at least 500 feet away from the victim's residence, vehicle, place of employment, and school at all times. You may not use, possess, or carry any firearms, guns, weapons, ammunition, or knives. I am going to allow you a one-time return to the residence, but it's one time and one time only, and it must be within 48 hours of your release from custody, and you must be accompanied by a law enforcement officer. The purpose for that one-time return is for you to quickly gather essential items, things such as medication, clothing, work tools, important paperwork, things of that nature. You have a arraignment set in the M5 division for July the 10th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next case is Lyric Orr. Mr. Orr, you're charged with resisting an officer without violence and unlawful carrying of a concealed firearm. Would you like for me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
Originally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I have reviewed the arrest report and do find probable cause for all of the charges. In this case, I'm going to require pretrial release with bail as a condition of pretrial release. Your bail is set at $5,000 on the unlawful carrying charge and $1,000 on the resisting charge. Once you are released, you must report immediately to Pretrial Release Services Office in person in Lakeland at 930 East Parker Street. Thereafter, you must report by phone every week, 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You may not use, possess, or carry any firearms, guns, weapons, ammunition, or knives, and you have an arraignment set for July the 28th at 8:15 a.m. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to Jared Parrish.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Parrish, it looks like you are here because you have a capias from Polk County case number 2026 CT 9260. You failed to appear at mandatory docketing. Does he have an attorney?
Yes, he does. PD.
All right, the Public Defender's Office is already appointed to represent you in this case, and they will continue to represent you. I have reviewed the KPS. I do find probable cause for the charge, and we're going to have a 5-day hearing on this
June 26th.
tomorrow, June 26th at 8:30 a.m., and that'll be in front of me. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Moving on to Kaylor Qualls. Sir,
Caleb Claus, yes, Your Honor.
You are charged with reckless driving, use or display of a firearm, or carrying a concealed firearm during a felony, cannabis possession not more than 20 grams, possession of cannabis resin, and use or possession of drug paraphernalia. Would you like for me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, or you can hire your own attorney or represent yourself?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, I would like to have a public defender.
All right, I provisionally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I have reviewed the arrest report. I do find probable cause for all the charges. In this case, I'm going to require pretrial release with bail as a condition of pretrial release. Your bail is set at $10,000 on the firearm charge, $5,000 on the cannabis resin charge, $1,000 on the cannabis possession not more than 20 grams charge, $1,000 on the paraphernalia charge, and $250 on the reckless charge. Once you are released, you must report immediately to Pretrial Release Services Office in person in Lake Alfred at 200 Government Center Boulevard. Thereafter, you must report by phone every week, 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You must submit to random urinalysis that you're required to pay for. You have an arraignment set for July the 28th at 8:15 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next case is Marty Roberts. Mr. Roberts, you're charged with violation of probation from Polk County case number 2022 CF 8860. Would you like for me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, or you can hire
Yes.
your own attorney or
Yes,
represent
please.
the Public Defender?
Yes, please.
All right, I provisionally appoint the Public Defender to represent you. I have reviewed the VOP warrant and the affidavit of VOP. I do find probable cause for the charge. Because it's a VOP, your bond status is no bond, but you have a hearing in the F7 division on July 21st at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next case is Paul Rowe. Mr. Rowe, you're charged with trespassing on structure or conveyance. Would you like for me to appoint the Public Defender to represent you?
Yes.
I provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. I have reviewed the arrest report. I do find probable cause for the charge. In this case, I'm going to require a straight bond in the amount of $250, but as condition of the bond, you are prohibited from having any contact with stay-in suites, and you must stay at least 500 feet away from the event location. You have an arraignment set for July the 10th at 8:30 a.m. in the M5 division. Thank you, sir. Moving on to Richard Slaughter. Mr. Slaughter, you're charged with leaving the scene of a crash involving death. Would you like for me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
No, ma'am.
Let me just confirm. I saw other charges in
ma'am.
the file, but I'm asking the court personnel here. I saw other charges on other affidavits, but the docket only has this charge. Is this a bring back?
This is a bring back, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. All right, so I already appointed the public defender's office. I have reviewed the arrest report, the arrest warrant, and the complaint affidavit. I do find probable cause for the charge. I see our assistant state attorney is in the courtroom with me and is standing at the lectern. What would you like to tell me?
Your Honor, this is regarding bond in this case.
Yes, sir.
This is a first-degree felony, Your Honor. However, it is not eligible for a pretrial detention motion. This case was before the court yesterday, and I don't know if Your Honor is aware. If you had seen the motion that was prepared yesterday after court.
I did not see. Nothing has been presented to me.
Sir.
So what is the motion that was
So
presented?
the motion, it was ultimately granted by Judge Denmark yesterday. It was in order to vacate the previous bond set. Judge Rode yesterday set this as a first-degree misdemeanor instead of a first-degree felony. So Judge Denmark, I don't want to say revokes the right word, but it was more of a motion to reconsider. That order was subsequently signed. In this case, Your Honor, based upon the facts of the case as well as the defendant's lengthy previous criminal history, state is requesting a $100,000 bond. Additionally, the state would also request, I know pretrial release conditions have already been set pursuant to the warrant, however, state would also request a GPS monitor.
What's this in defense?
Your Honor, we object to the $100,000 bond on this matter. As best I can speak on behalf of Mr. Slaughter without knowing more, he is local in this area, and there is a felony first-degree offense that the court can give bond on. But $100,000, I think, would be well outside of what would be reasonable in this case.
The facts of this case are very serious.
I understand, Your Honor.
And I'm not asking for comment. I
Oh,
heard what
oh,
you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I thought you had finished. Are you not finished?
Oh, no, I'm
Oh,
done.
okay.
Yes.
I wasn't seeking any additional comments.
Sorry.
The facts of this case are significant. So I am in agreement with the state's suggestion about what to do in this case. So, Mr. Slaughter, in this case, I am going to require pretrial release with bail's condition of pretrial release on this first-degree felony charge. I'm going to require GPS electronic monitoring as well as condition of pretrial release. You may not be released until the GPS electronic monitor is affixed to your person. Once you're released, you must report immediately to pretrial release services office in person in Lakeland at 930 East Parker Street. Thereafter, you must report by phone 7 days a week, every week. I am going to require a $100,000 bond in this case. Additionally, you're prohibited from having any contact with any witnesses in this case. You have to stay at least 500 feet away from those witnesses, their residences, vehicles, place of employment, and schools at all times. Do you have a hearing set, arraignment set for this case for July the 28th at 8:15 a.m.? Thank you, Mr. Slaughter. And I am going to additionally keep the previous conditions that were imposed. All right, moving on to the Lloyd Sawinski case. So you're charged with resisting an officer without violence, possession or use of drug paraphernalia, and possession of methamphetamine. Would you like for me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
I originally appointed the public defender's office to represent you. I have reviewed the arrest report. I do find probable cause for these new charges. Additionally, the pretrial services notes that you have an open bond case, that's case number 2026 MM4330. But as to these new charges, I'm going to require pretrial release with bail's condition of pretrial release. Your bail is set at $6,000 on the methamphetamine charge and $1,000 on each of the remaining two charges. Once you are released, you need to report immediately to pretrial release services office in person in Lake Alfred at 200 Government Center Boulevard. Thereafter, you need to report by phone every week, twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You also must submit to random urinalysis that you're required to pay for, and you have an arraignment set on these new charges for July the 28th at 8:15 a.m. Is there anything anyone wants to tell me about the open bond case?
Yes, Your Honor, state would request a Parker hold on the open case.
All right. Mr. Sawinski, the state is asking that on the case you're out on open bond, your open case that you're out on bond on, 2026 MM4330, that I revoke your bond in that case and hold you no bond pursuant to Parker v. State. And that is what I'm going to do. So your bond is revoked in that case, and you're to be held no bond. Does Mr. Sawinski have an attorney in that case, 2026 MM4330?
No, ma'am.
All right, I provisionally appoint the public defender to represent him on that case as well. Thank you, sir. The next
Thank
case
you.
is Anthony Taylor, and I'm going to have a question about that case.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Taylor, my question is for the court personnel in here. It looks like an amended, I just want to confirm that this is correct. It looks like that an amended arrest report was filed charging you with possession of cannabis resin, possession of cannabis over 20 grams, driving while license suspended or revoked, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to ask the state attorney's office if that's correct.
So, full candor to the court. So, yesterday there was no probable cause found for the cannabis. It was continued 24 hours to allow additional time to perfect probable cause. Full candor to the court, I do not know why there are 3 add-on charges for the duplicates, for the resin, the over 20 grams, and the DWLSR. I understand the add-on for the paraphernalia, as the paraphernalia was not included on the affidavit from yesterday. I think, and Ms. Goins, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that there should only be probable cause found for 1 count DWLSR, 1 count resin, 1 count over 20 grams, and then 1 count of paraphernalia.
I would agree from the affidavit.
So based upon the stipulation of counsel for the defense and counsel for the state, is it accurate what we're left with if I were to, that the only 4 remaining charges would be the possession of cannabis resin, possession of cannabis over the 20 grams, 1 count of driving while license suspended and revoked, and 1 count of paraphernalia?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. With the stipulation from the state and defense, I do find probable cause for those 4 charges, and I do not find probable cause for the remaining charges, and Mr. Taylor shall be ROR'd on those remaining charges. In this case, sir, I'm going to require pretrial release with bail as a condition of pretrial release. Your bail is set at $5,000 on the cannabis resin charge, $5,000 on the cannabis over 20 grams, $1,000 on the paraphernalia charge, and $250 on the driving while license suspended or revoked charge. Once you are released, you need to report immediately to Pretrial Release Services Office in person in Bartow at 1745 South Highway 17. Thereafter, you must report by phone every week, twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you must submit to random urinalysis that you're required to pay for. You have an arraignment set for July 28th at 8:15 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. With that being said, with me paying the $250 for the last one, would that allow me to go take care of everything I need to take care of?
I don't know what I don't know what other things you may have out there, and I just announced what.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What you just announced, with me already taking care of from yesterday, the $250 for a bond, could I finish off the rest of what I need to take care of today?
Yes, I don't know why you couldn't. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Next case is Cameron Maurice Teague. All right, so you're charged with violation of probation for Polk County case number 2025 CF 4555 and the counts associated with that case. Would you like for me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
I provisionally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I have reviewed the arrest report. I do find probable cause for all the charges. Because they're VOPs, your bond status is no bond, but you have a hearing on this case on July 21st at 8:30 a.m. in the F7 Division. Thank you, sir. Moving on to Gabriel Thebo.
I'm sorry, you said what date?
Hold on one second.
July 21st.
July 21st. All right. Moving on to Mr. Thebo. Sir, you're charged with failure to maintain a vehicle liability insurance, driving while license suspended or revoked, second conviction. Would you like for me to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
I provisionally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I have reviewed their arrest report and citations. I do find probable cause for the charges. In this case, I'm going to require a pretrial release with bail's condition of pretrial release. Your bail set at $1,000 on the DWLSR charge and $250 on the failure to maintain vehicle liability insurance charge. Once you are released, you must report immediately to Pretrial Release Services Office in person in Lake Alfred at 200 Government Center Boulevard. Thereafter, you must report by phone every week, once a week on Thursdays. And you have an arraignment set for July the 10th at 8:30 a.m. in the M5 Division. Thank you, sir. All right. Moving on to Tabarante Willis. So you're charged with driving without a valid driver's license, and you have a warrant out of Hillsborough County for failure to appear on a committing retail theft, $750 or more charge. I cannot appoint a public defender to represent you on the Hillsborough County charge, but I can appoint a public defender if that's your desire on the no valid driver's license charge. Would you like for me to do that?
Yes.
I provisionally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on the Polk County charge. I have reviewed the citation and arrest report and warrant confirmation teletype. I do find probable cause for both of the charges. As to the Polk County charge, I'm going to require a pretrial release with bail's condition of pretrial release. Your bail is set at $500. Once you are released, you must report immediately to Pretrial Release Services Office in person in Lakeland at 930 East Parker Street. Thereafter, you must report by phone every week, 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And regarding the Hillsborough County case, Hillsborough County has set your bond status as no bond. On the Polk County case, you will have an arraignment set for July the 10th at 8:30 a.m. in the M5 Division. Thank you, sir.
I got a question.
He has 2 Polk County charges.
Oh, I didn't have that one.
Yeah, it's an amended.
Okay,
Let me pull it up.
so that must have come in after. Hold on one second. Apparently, there's more paperwork they haven't given me, so let me look at it.
Oh, he does have both. I did give him one.
All right, sir. There's a second charge that has been added to the folder for a new Polk County charge of giving false ID to a law enforcement officer. Give me one moment. I have reviewed the arrest report in that case. I do find probable cause for that charge as well. On that case, I'm going to require bond in the amount of $1,000, pretrial release. You'll report in the same manner that I already described in that report in person immediately to pretrial release services at the location I already told you, and thereafter by phone twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thank you, sir.
I got a question.
Yes,
So
sir.
before Hillsborough come get me, I got to pay a bond over here?
I'm not going to get into, usually you have to satisfy the local charges before they'll come get you, but I stay out of all that, okay? All right, thank you. That's all I have unless anybody else has any